Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for being here for a peek under the umbrella. We are going to be talking about all of the things that have happened since our last peek under the umbrella last month. The second Tuesday of each month, we will be having these where we are um, just sharing what has been going on and what is to come. We want to be really transparent with everybody and let everyone know, again, let everyone know what's going on and provide a platform for people to ask questions as well. Um, so feel free to ask questions and we will come up to a point where we will be able to do that. If I don't answer them right away, while as immediately when you ask them, we will have a Q&A period where you can ask them, but please feel free to go ahead and type them in whenever, and I will go and look at those comments as we go. So I am Angela Locashio. I am the founder and executive director for Umbrella Alliance US. And um, we, there we go, make sure that's working. We, this is one of those things that I said, community is everything. If you think that you will experience your ultimate potential without considerable support from others, you are mistaken. And this comes from that self-care narrative where people talk a lot about how important it is to self-care and to be able to take care of yourself. And of course, we value that and we want to be self-advocates and we want to be able to advocate for ourselves, but we don't want to do that in a vacuum where we do not have access to the help and the support that we need. Everybody needs help, everybody needs support at different times. And so that's one of the things that is really important to us is creating that community where we all know that we are safe and where we all can feel safe, advocating and asking for the support that we need, as well as helping each other do that when we are not able to do that for ourselves or when one of our community members is not able to do that for themselves for whatever reason. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. And I hope that as we get to know each other over time, that this really does feel like a great community for you. It feels like a safe space, and that we really truly do get the opportunity to know each other through this platform as well as other platforms that we'll be talking about here as we go. I do want to make sure that I am being aware of everybody's time. And so I will go through this. I do not expect this to last for an hour. Of course, that depends on the Q&A session, how long that goes through. I do want to allow time for that for anybody who has questions or wants to interact. I will cut it off after an hour, but I anticipate that it'll be about 30 minutes. Sometimes I am wrong on time. Usually I'm pretty good, but it could go a little shorter, it could go a little longer. Um, so again, welcome. Umbrella Alliance, our mission is that we are dedicated to fostering a more inclusive, equitable, and thriving world for neurodivergent individuals. That's not our mission statement, but that's what we're working on. That is what we are working toward. We believe that understanding and supporting neurodiversity is not just a goal, but it truly is a collective responsibility. It's not something that just one of us is going to do and work towards, but something that all of us are going to take action and work toward together to the capacity that we have. So, part of that collective is actually sharing some community highlights. And this is something that I would like to do each time. Of course, if you have a community highlight, you can absolutely share that with us. We have information, we have a place on our website where you can share resources and where you can also apply to share your own story and things that are going on for you personally. You can go on there and share anything that you would like. And of course, you can also send us information at info@umbrellaallianceus.org. So I'm going to share some um, community highlights of some folks in our community who have written books this year. They've been published in 2023. So these three books here we have, and I definitely will put the links in comments for everyone. This first book is by Dr. Jim Herricks. Um, and it is called No Place for Autism: Exploring the Solitary Forager Hypothesis of Autism in Light of Place Identity. And this book is one that you can look at. And of course, may, if you are watching on LinkedIn, you may have actually seen some of his posts. He has some really great things that he is talking about as far as the economic security of our community. And you know that that is near and dear to my heart. And something that is important to us here at Umbrella Alliance. So we are celebrating this book coming out. We are celebrating all of the hard work and effort that was put into creating the book, as well as the amazing resource that the book is for our community. The second book here is The Intersectionality of Being Black and Neurodiverse. And this is by Oluseyitua Ojedokin. I apologize, I did not have time in advance to contact the author to assure that I was saying the name correctly. So please correct me on that if I did not. Um, there is a pronunciation actually on the website that talks about her, and I did the best that I could, but I really wish that I would have reached out. I think that that would have been the more responsible and a nice thing to do, is to check on that. So that is a lesson for the future that I will make sure that I do in the future. Um, this book is talking about that experience because right now it's really overwhelmingly white what is happening with the neurodiversity movement. It is overwhelmingly white. When I look online, I see a lot more white folks talking about it, especially when we're talking about late diagnosis. And we would like that to be different. The 80+% global majority is not white, yet we have more white folks talking about this. That doesn't feel right. It's backwards. And there are a lot of reasons for that. But we want to share and we want to consume and support as many of these neurodivergent folks as we can to make sure that a variety of voices are being heard, a variety of experiences are being shared. Um, and that's really important to us here at Umbrella. So please, if you have resources that can be shared that we can share, please let us know because we definitely want to share those and make sure that we are amplifying the voices of a variety of members of our community and not only those who experience more privilege for a variety of reasons. And then the third book here is called Invisible Scars. And this book is by Angie Reed. And it is stroke survival, recovery, and the unexpected mental fallout, health fallout. Um, in this book, she is talking about a variety of the things that she personally encountered, some of the ways that she dealt with those, and how the conversation isn't quite being had as far as I mean, it doesn't, the book does not necessarily go in depth into neurodiversity, and that is because a big link has not been created for stroke like it has for autism, ADHD, dyslexia. Um, but this book does talk a lot about the changes that happen in the brain when somebody experiences a stroke. So it is a great book to look at to help understand that process for yourself or for somebody else if you're a caregiver, or to understand neurodiversity in general, and that it is a really truly vast spectrum. And that's something here at Umbrella US that is important to us to talk about is um, this is not just about autism. It's not just about ADHD. It's not just about a few of those learning styles or disabilities that we hear about for school. We are also talking about anything where your brain is interacting with the environment, the world around it, and the people in it. Um, in a different way than society says is typical. So that could be cerebral palsy, it could be epilepsy, it could be migraines, it could be MS, TBI, PTSD, CPTSD, a lot of these things. In this book, she also talks about the depression and the anxiety that came up post stroke. And of course, we know depression and anxiety. I shouldn't say, of course, we know, not everybody knows that. Depression and anxiety also are neurodivergent conditions that that so that we can talk about those. Um, COVID brain, yes, thank you so much, Sarah. COVID brain. COVID was a big instigator, if you will, of a lot of the conversations that we're having right now because it did affect people so um, strongly, and NDs also were significantly affected in different ways with COVID. Um, so that is definitely something that we want to talk about and we want to explore and we want to look at the research, but we have to be having that conversation and not only be talking about um, autism and ADHD. Not that those aren't important, but those are just out there they're being talked about a lot and they're kind of in your face, right? Like this is what people are seeing. What people aren't seeing is a lot of the other things that are happening in the community. And those are the things that we definitely want to bring to the surface because if we're going to be working with marginalized members of our community, which in fighting for marginalized members of our community, we help everybody in our community um, experience a better quality of life, have access to better resources, and really support each other and truly work together as a collective. So we have to be talking about all of those different conditions out there that cause disability, or maybe the ones that don't cause disability, but still affect the way that we interact with our environment and that we need support in various aspects of our lives. So, thank you very much, David. Thank you for being here from Alaska. Um, yes, I think that this communication is important, and I really look forward to having more and more communication with our community members and getting to know all of you. So, thank you so much for being here. I'm going to move on now from these community shout outs. Again, if you have anything that you would like to share, please let us know. You can drop it in comments. You can send it to our email. You can put it on the form that's on our website. I will be giving more information about that later because we definitely want to share. And the more y'all share, the more we can share the things that you share with us. And we want to do that. All right. So UmbrellaAllianceUS.org. The information that I am getting to share with you, I am getting ready to share with you right now, can be found in a file on this page, UmbrellaAllianceUS.org. Several of the pages on there have this green button that says Download Company Profile. Click on that button, put your email in there, and it'll send it to your email address, and you can download it. That will have this document that I'm going to share is going to, um, when you download it, it has links so that you can just click and quickly and easily find this information that I'm sharing with you now. Okay, so one of the things that we want to do every time we have one of these is to let y'all know what are the initiatives, what is going on, where are we making advancements, what work are we actually doing? Because we're not here to talk, right? We're not here just to talk about things. Talking is important and it needs to happen sometimes. But we are also here to very specifically do something, to take action on these things. So right now, the ND23 project is our main area of focus, and we have 3 initiatives that we are doing through that project. The first one is the Self-Advocacy Survival Guide, and that is what y'all said you wanted. So the community loudly and clearly said, we want a guidebook, and we hear you, and so this is a focus. In conjunction with that, we are doing webinars and live events, and we are also working on a research partnership, which is really exciting. Of course, ND led research project. Not led and done by somebody who is not ND and who does not have this experience, but actually led by NDs for NDs. So I'll expand a little bit on each of these. The first one, the Self Advocacy Survival Guide. Again, when you download that um, company profile, you will be able to click a link that will take you to a page that gives you all of this information, plus some. Because I'm just giving a little brief overview, right? The page that it'll take you to will give you more information that you're looking for. So, what are we really looking for when we're talking about the Self Advocacy Survival Guide? In this guide, we are going to have personal narratives, practical strategies, inclusive perspectives, expert insights, practical application of those strategies that we mentioned above, community connection, resources, and references. Okay, so what does that really mean for you? Well, we can't put this together ourselves, just us, right? That's not a community led project. So, what we're doing with this is we are inviting you to participate in this. We need you to participate in this. So it is a book by neurodivergent individuals for neurodivergent individuals. And it provides a platform for you to share your unique experience, your unique professional and otherwise insights to help you realize you're not alone in your journey. So it's going to empower the folks who are reading it. Those of us who put into it are also going to be readers. It's not a one-way thing. It's something that is going back and forth, and we're sharing it together. So it will empower us to navigate in a world that doesn't always understand us. It will equip us with the tools and the confidence to advocate for our needs and our rights effectively, because I may know something, I may have an experience that is different from your experience. You can learn from me and I can learn from you. So, really, what we're doing is we're collaborating with co authors and community members, contributing to this growing movement dedicated to uplifting ND voices and promoting that acceptance and inclusion. So, we need a variety of people for this, right? We need a a group of people stepping in and saying, I am able to come in and share my story or share my experience or share my professional knowledge. I'm in D and I'm doing it from that side, or I'm an ally and I'm doing it from that side. We are looking for advisors. We're looking to have committees, advisory committees, small, we don't want huge ones, right? We want small advisory committees to look into sections like intersectionality. Are we absolutely representing every member of our community? Are we making sure that we are uplifting all voices and that it is not just a perspective from a select few in our community? We want people to share stories about discovery and diagnosis. We want to talk about different age groups because the experience is different for different age groups. Employment, education, different areas of education as far as primary school, secondary, post secondary, graduate, the experience is different there for different people. Healthcare, community, like social protections and social justice that is happening in the community, as well as getting our community providers' voices in there as well. We need advisory committees to make sure that all of this is really being shared through an intersectional lens to show the large variety that happens within our community. We don't want to have just one perspective of each of those different areas. Um, and I see a couple questions in there, and I will absolutely answer those in just a moment. Um, some of the other things that we're doing for people who maybe they don't want to be on an advisory committee, or they even want to do maybe more than that. Um, we need people who are writing research and evidence-based practices. And again, this information that I'm sharing right here, it is included when you download that document. You'll be able to click on links that take you to this information. So you don't need to remember it. And of course, you can always email me as well and ask. Um, Research evidence-based practices, we're going to have that in the book. We need people to be writing about that and sharing. Maybe you've already done some research and would like to share that as well. Thank you, Jessica. Just dropped umbrellaallianceus.org/take-action into the chat. That is a little easier to click than having to type it in yourself. So that does have one way to get involved. And at the top of that page, you can find the button to download the company profile that has this information in it. We're also looking for people to write and share their experiences on resources that they found, maybe reviewing those resources and sharing what they like, what they don't like about them, how they've helped, or how they would maybe like them to change and be better. Lived experience, experts, and providers. We will also be looking for community members who can help us with content and accessibility. As well as marketing, copywriting. Um, and we are also putting all of this together in a digital database. So having somebody who has experience with digital resource management in WordPress, preferably, would be that's another area that we are looking for support. So that's kind of a long list of how you can get involved, which is one of the questions. How do we get involved? So that's one way. We have more I will talk about here in a moment, but that is one way. And actually, when you go to that link that Jessica dropped in there, um, it says it has an option there for share resources. Sorry, not share resources. It does have that option and you can do that. But if you want to get involved by volunteering, you can click the volunteer one. If you want to share your experience or be on a podcast or write for us or do one of those things, there's also an option to that and it says share your experience. Um, and another question, is there a timeline on the project of the survival guide? Yes and no. So we will have certain timelines that we will be working with different people. We'll be talking with them. We want to be pushing this stuff out as we go, and we'll be sharing it digitally. And then once we have it, we'll put it in a book later. And then we're going to continue building on that book. So what that means is sometimes there will be, for people who can, there will be timelines. We want to have the book published by this time next year. So as we're compiling these things and putting them up, we will create a book. But it's not going to stop just there. We know that things will change, continue to grow, and we will continue to add more as time goes on. So I anticipate people who maybe are working on a project and it's not going to be done for 2 years, that might still be some, a doctoral project or a dissertation or something like that, or a research project. There will be opportunities for things to go after that specific timeline. I hope I answered your question. Um, I'm seeing there are many resources for children and very few resources for once they become adults. Absolutely 100%. Um, and Sarah, thank you for answering that. We are focused highly on the adult experience. While we will be talking about the different age groups in the book, this book is not being written for parenting per se. There will be sections talking about that, but that is not who this is written for. This book is written for self advocates. So it will be for um, older adolescents, young adults, and adults, because that is exactly right. That's what's missing is the information for adults. So that's what we are focused on at Umbrella US at this time. Perfect. Sarah, thank you. Sarah said there are a number of social reasons. By the way, Sarah is our national board chair. Um, and And I also talked about Jessica, who is our co-founder. Um, so thank you. They are participating that way, which is very, very helpful, and I appreciate it, and I love that. So yes, adults are assumed to be able to find our own answers, and obviously that's not always the case. We need support. We need help from others. So that's really what this survival guide is all about. And again, it is focused more on older adolescents, and adults. Okay, so that's the self advocacy survival guide. Let me go on to the next one because this one's really fun and exciting. They're all really fun and exciting. I get a little overexcited maybe, but that's okay. Right? um, So webinars and live events, we've been working really hard on. I agree, Stacey, Sarah, and Jessica are incredible humans. We have been working hard on live events. So this being one of them, we're going to have this every month to keep the community updated on what's happening. And we have other webinars and live events as well. And David, here's another way of how people can get involved. And again, this is also in that document so that you can click on there and it's on the website. When you say if you select the share your experience option, that lets us know that we can contact you for webinars, live events, or maybe you're wanting to propose your own. Um, so let's look at these options really quickly. Um, you can attend, like those of you who are here now, attending the event, participating through that communication there is fantastic. Also, being a guest or a panelist is amazing. Not only do we have the ones that are regularly scheduled, but we are already planning some one-off events. When you talk to somebody and you just have this amazing thing that needs to be talked about, sometimes we're just like, yep, we need to do that. Sarah and I were having a conversation the other day about entrepreneurship, and we're like, you know what? We have this whole podcast that's happening on work now, but we need to do a one off on entrepreneurship because it's kind of got this special thing that we want to talk about. Um, in its own space, if you will. So we always have those options, and maybe you have an idea of something that you would like to do, and so let us know. Maybe you have an idea of a panel that should be hosted and it doesn't fit into something that we're already doing. Let us know. Propose those events. Maybe you have a course idea that you've been thinking of and you want it to be something that you're sharing with the community, and um, let us know about these things and we can talk about it and see how we can work together to make sure that your voice is heard and that we are providing to the community what we want to provide. Does that mean that we're going to be doing a lot of um, uh, just free work for people? No, that's not what that means. If you are coming on and you're proposing your own course, of course we would be expecting you to put the work into that you're wanting to do, and let us know when we ask the questions like how can we support, what is this going to look like. This isn't something um, at this point right now today, we are not, Umbrella US is not creating courses and providing courses. Will we at some point in the future? Yes, that is something that we will do, but it's not something that we are focused on at this very moment. So when I say propose your own, that is because you have an idea for a course that you would like to give and would like to do that in partnership with us. So I just want to make that really, really super clear that it is a mutual effort, a mutual work that will be happening there. And I have had a few people contact me and say, hey, I have this really great idea for a webinar. Is that something that you could help me do? And we are looking at how we can do that as well so that it's not just my face that you're seeing here all of the time, but you're getting to see other community members as well. Um, so two of our events that are regularly scheduled events, is The Work End, a neurodiversity podcast, and that is with our host, Selena Gavin. Um, you may have seen, excuse me just a moment. Okay. You may have seen already her introduction. I posted that. I'll post the link in here again so that you can meet her because she has a really fascinating story um, about her own neurodivergence. And she is going to be the host of The Work End, which the first episode airs this Thursday, September 14th. And the second one that is going to be a regularly occurring is ND and NO, a neurodiversity podcast for self advocates and allies. And all of those themes that we talked about that are in that self advocacy guidebook, we're going to be having those discussions on this podcast as well, and really be diving deep into self advocacy and looking at it through that lens of community care instead of self care. So that's really exciting. And that one airs on the September 28th. All right. The third initiative that we are doing with the ND23 project is our research partnership. And I'll go back for just a moment. The Work End is actually part of that research partnership. That is how it came about. So the research partnership is really about work. It's about understanding work in a different way and redefining work. It is about that strengths based approach that people love to talk about and taking it away from the neurotypical space that it's in, the way that questions are written and tests are performed and assessments to see what job you would like to have and those sorts of things, and really looking at it in a different way and making it truly accessible for neurodivergent folks. So, something that we are doing for this is that Work End um, podcast where we are inviting folks to come in and share their stories, to provide expert advice, tips, community connection, uh, breaking barriers. How are we changing things so that things don't continue as far as work and caregiving and parenting and all of those different ways that we expend our energy throughout the day? How are we doing things differently so that we don't have to expend so much energy and we can actually have some energy left to do the things that really make us happy and that help us thrive, sharing different experiences. And then this very last one is a Discord server. So when you download that company profile and you click for more information, you have the option there. When you click on that, it takes you to a page that talks about the podcast. At the bottom of that page, there's the option for folks to get on the wait list for the Discord server. Um, and that server is going to be a small group of people where we are having conversations about work, about the different kinds of work that we do. You might have heard me mention caregiving, um, volunteering, internships, hobbies, all of these different ways that we expend our energy that is work. And we'll be talking about jobs, of course, as well. Um, the um, the jobs that people go to and they get paid. Getting paid is just one way of looking at work and defining it. And we did a survey, and actually, most people on the survey did not choose the option of getting paid to do something. A few folks did, but a majority of folks, excuse me, chose doing something, taking action toward a goal. And when we look at work through that lens, taking action toward a goal, it's not just about that 9 to 5 paid thing. But we know that those paid jobs sometimes take so much of our energy that we are unable to meaningfully engage in other aspects of our life. And we would like to change that. So that is what this research partnership is all about. Um, Community is so vital. I find that things my family shares since they are indie is helpful to almost everyone. Right, Stacy? Speaking of work, Stacy is going to be one of our amazing panelists on Thursday. So we're very much looking forward to see what Stacy has to say um, about work and the idea of work and identity at work and all of these fun things that we're going to be talking about with Selena. I say we, I will be in the background. You will not see me there, but I will be there in the background. Um, so the research partnership is the third way that you can participate, and it's the third initiative that we are doing through the ND23 project. So now would be the time for a Q&A. If anybody has questions that they would like me to answer, please go ahead and put those in. If you have comments that you would like to make, please feel free to do that. It's been a while since I've done one of these on my own, and I forgot how I do that, like just looking at and responding to um, things as they go. And that actually worked really well. And I liked being able to kind of answer the questions on the spot. I'm happy to hear people's feedback on um, this particular format that we're using and if it is helpful and accessible. Um, And definitely want to answer your questions. If you think of questions after, please feel free to send them to me because we want to answer your questions. We want to know what you're thinking and be able to provide responses. And if we don't have a response, that lets us know some of the work that we need to be doing so that we can give you a response. Okay. Again, if you have things, you can go ahead and post those, even though I'm continuing to talk. When you go to our website, umbrellaallianceus.org/events, that will give you our events calendar. Now, on that calendar, we have Umbrella US events, but we also have some of those community events. For example, Philip King Lowe does a podcast, Today's Autistic Moment, and we have put that on there. Also, webinars and things like that that are community members are doing, we are supporting in that way as well by putting them on our calendar so that we can have this all in one place. So that is on our events page of the website. 3 of the upcoming events that we are doing, you will see on there. One is the Work End, which is this Thursday, September 14th. One is next Thursday, and that is I am doing a webinar talking about intersectionality as a missing component of the strengths-based approach to hiring autistic and working with autistic employees. However, if you are listening and you are not autistic, the things that I am talking about will absolutely cover the spectrum of neurodivergence and not only be um, about autism. Stacy says, love the higher autism since Indy experience higher rates of unemployment or underemployment, right? And that's just it. If we're looking at the economic security of our community, then it's important that we are providing resources to help us have more access and to help employers understand what is going on and give some practical feedback and some practical real life application of how things can be changed. Um, so that is why I am doing that talk, that webinar for higher autism next Thursday. And then the following Thursday, September 28th, will be the first episode of the ND and NO neurodiversity podcast, which is really exciting as well. The stigma is so strong. Stacy, it really is. And Shelly says, I really look forward to the higher autism talk. Me too. Very much. I have so much to say about it. Uh, um, so these are 3 of the events. I did not put this on here, but another of the events is I am actually going, Umbrella US is actually um, based in Wichita, Kansas, which is where I am uh, um, originally from. I will answer that question in just a moment. It is based in Wichita, Kansas, where I am originally from. As a military spouse, we move around, but that is going to stop soon, and we will be going back to Wichita, which is very exciting. And I am taking a trip to Wichita where I will be meeting with some folks there, talking about Umbrella US, and then I will be traveling up to, and Jessica as well. We will be traveling and meeting with Sarah, and we will be having some board discussions and then be able to share those with y'all in November. So it's very exciting. Those aren't going to happen until um, either right before or right after our October meeting. So all of the things that we do with that board meeting that we're doing will come in and we'll share. We've got some big stuff that we're very excited to start sharing once we've got it all together in November. And hijinks. Okay, so let's see what is here. The stigma is strong, says Stacy, and then Sarah says the ignorance is so strong, too. And that's true. Whether it is just because people don't know, and unfortunately, there's a lot of that willful ignorance that happens as well. Um, the higher autism talk is the audience employers. There will be multiple. They asked me, who is this for? And I said it's for employees and employers as well as advocates. So it's a diverse audience. And so the talk will be, it will be accessible to a variety of people in the way that I am putting the information together. I hope that made sense. Um, It's not just stigma, though, Stacy says. There are many structural designs to produce these outcomes. Absolutely, 100%. There, there's a lot, and that's why we're here, and that's why we want to have these conversations. Because, right, we've got so many structures in place. When we talk about breaking barriers, um, we have to break barriers in order to get to those structures. So that we can start dismantling some things slowly. You can't just tear it down because then everything just crumbles and things get lost and it's chaos. But we can start dismantling things in the right way so that we can be building at the same time as we're dismantling. So that we have that really strong foundation for sustainability. And finally, here is our contact information, our phone number, 1-442-222-8739. You can email me at info@umbrellaallianceus.org. Our website is umbrellaallianceus.org. And you can find us on LinkedIn at umbrella-alliance-us. Thank you so much for being here today. All of these will be on our YouTube channel for those who are not watching on YouTube, who are watching live on LinkedIn. These will be on our YouTube channel for playbacks, or if you want to send it to somebody, subscribe to YouTube so that you will get notified for everything. Make sure that you like our page. If you're watching on LinkedIn, please make sure you like our page or follow our page so that you definitely do get that information as well. And again, that's Umbrella Alliance US. Um, any questions that come in afterwards, I will address through the comment section or through email if folks email me through the phone if somebody texts or calls that phone number, and through messaging on LinkedIn. Thank you so much for being here, and I look forward to seeing y'all on Thursday for the podcast, and then again next month for a peek under the umbrella. Mwah.